Guys from 103.9 asked me to add a betting line, a betting segment. Well, why not go to the best, as we are going to introduce the new guy that's going to be leading this segment, Chaz from San Diego and his team. So we're going to call this segment Sports Betting Moneyline Mania with Chaz and the crew. Chaz, what's going on, man?
No, you know what? It's always exciting this time of year because we're talking about a couple games on Sunday, and these are four good football teams. You know, guys, you're in Jets territory and Giants territory. There are some weeks that of the 16 games, 8 of them are horrible.
If you talk about the New York Jets and the New York Giants, they're probably done playing golf. It's pathetic football over here in New York. So why not go to some of the top half of the league? Let's go in to the LA Rams and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Where do you see this game, and tell us why?
As you move through the playoffs, you start seeing teams that have played against each other. Sometimes if they're in the same division, this is the third time they've played. So those games, if you're looking at something that jumps out at you, the previous matches sometimes work. The problem with the Rams is they play Tampa really, really early in the year. Anything that's happened 2 months, and think about it, can you even remember what happened in your life 2 months ago? Never mind the Rams and Tampa Bay. So you got to look at what's happened more recently with these teams. There's one problem, guys. There's a quarterback on that team that just won his first playoff game. And there's a quarterback on the other team that's got like 39 of them and like 11 rings or whatever sick number he has. It's hard for me personally to think that the Rams are going to win this game. But winning the game gets you to play next week, right? Mm-hmm. Winning the game doesn't necessarily win you money if there's a point spread. Are you looking to bet the best team? Are you looking for opportunities? No, I bet a little differently. So I look at the first quarter. I look at the first half. I look at the second half. I break the game up into segments. And I say, based on what I know about these teams, so an example, if somebody has done something 11 straight times, say somebody at work steals your sandwich out of the fridge 11 straight times. On the 12th time, if you put the sandwich in the fridge, you're an idiot, basically. These teams do the same thing. So you look at the Rams in the second half. They scored 13-7, 13, 17, 17, 17, 21, and 11. So that means in 7 of their last 8 second halves overall to end the season, and that includes a playoff game against Arizona, they're scoring double-digit points. So that's the kind of stuff that I look for because I'm not a fan of any team. People ask me, who's your favorite team? My favorite team is the team I got my $10 on, okay? I'll tell you that right now. So I don't care if they win the game. I want to cash tickets, and that's what we do. If you're at the sportsbook, now, what's the nicest one in New York?
DraftKings has become the most likable and priority for all the New York fans ever since it became legalized a week and a half ago. DraftKings. FanDuel, I think, offered $300 for a new guy.
The issue is that's all the mobile, 90% of it's mobile. But the best part of legalized sports betting, guys, is the two of you being able to go out and grab a seat and a beer and watch the game and go and cash your tickets right then and there. They give you the money. So you give them money, they give you paper, you go back later, you give them paper, they give you more money. That's the beauty of it. And so that's why we want to cash tickets, and we want to make sure that if you're paying attention during this 15 minutes of us talking, you're going to cash some tickets. When I look at this game, the first quarter, I'm seeing two teams that are going to just kind of spar each other out. But if you look at the Rams, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of their last 8 first quarters have gone under the number. They've given up 1 touchdown in their last 8 games. So both teams tend to come out slow, but then if they pick it up a little, who do you think is more comfortable, the Rams on the road or Tampa Bay at home? Sometimes, guys, you don't have to be a sports betting guru to use common sense. I'm going to be live on a Tampa Bay parlay because I had them with Green Bay. And Green Bay and Tampa Bay are the 2 best teams, and they're the 2 teams that are going to win. I'm going Tampa Bay, and I'm betting Tampa Bay in the over. The reason I'm going with the over is part of what I mentioned. The Rams are going to give up some points. They score some points. The problem is the Rams they're playing a little better, but there's still that mix of all those guys trying to buy a championship. I think it ends tomorrow.
I would say the same, and Tampa is the home team. Nobody's going to bet against Tom Brady. When you look at the money line and the point spread, does favor the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, being that they're home and being that they have arguably the greatest quarterback in the playoffs. I'm going to go with the Rams in this game. I know everybody keeps saying, well, they bought their team. Matthew Stafford, this is his 4th game in the playoffs, and this is the first time he actually won a playoff game. But I like what they're doing. I like how they're running the ball, and I like what they did last week against the Arizona Cardinals, where everybody thought the Arizona Cardinals were going to blow them out of the water. So I got Los Angeles in this game. I think they're going to win this game.
And again, there's no reason for me to argue with the logic. The Rams are a very, very good team.
Yes.
How could you not be happy for Matt Stafford? That Ford family thing, they should lose their cars. They should lose the franchise. They're just terrible. The ownership in the NFL, there's a handful of owners that are just really, really bad owners, and their teams show it. But what I'm looking at is the playoff data that we have. So we have these easy sports data that goes back to 2012. But you don't need that to look at Brady's Tampa Bay record. As the quarterback for Tampa Bay, his last 5 playoff games, he scored 31 points, 31 points, 31 points, 30 points, and 31 points. You don't even need a statistician to tell you the deviation or the mean. I mean, the bottom line is you got to say to yourself, are the Rams going to stop Tom Brady when nobody else could from scoring 31 points? And can the Rams score more than 31 points? And if you answer yes, you bet the Rams. If you answer no, you bet Tampa Bay.
Chaz, I got a question for you. The line right now, total points in the game is 47.5. Do you think this game is over or under on that?
Well, no, I told you I am going with Tampa Bay in the over.
Okay.
I will have it parlayed with the Green Bay over winner from today. The best part of the reason I'm doing that is because I'm assuming if Brady's done it 5 times in a row, he's going to do it 6 times in a row. You've heard me do the trash analogy. I had kids, right? If I could get my kids to take out the trash 5 times in a row, it was a good month, you know?
All right. The last game of the weekend, as everybody knows, we're a Saturday show, so we're not going to do the Saturday game. So why don't we go Buffalo, Kansas City. What do you got? The money line is plus 105 for Buffalo. Point spread plus 1.5 for Buffalo and 54.5 total points. Where do you go in this game?
My opinion of this game changed dramatically after watching Josh Allen's performance last week. Because it was like when the young uncle at the family picnic, the family reunion picnic, plays with the kids and he rumbles and stumbles. He was a high school star. Maybe he didn't make it in college, whatever. Bouncing off of people. So impressive that how could you not want to see him continue to play? But he's going to Kansas City. And the home field advantage in the playoffs is magnified. Think about any of those teams that travel well. Pittsburgh's a fine example. When they go to certain stadiums, they can't get their tickets unless they really spend the money because those people will not sell tickets. Blackhawk West from 151 Sports Investing, he'll be on our show down the road. He is a season ticket holder, but he sold his ticket for this game because he went last week, sold his ticket this week, paid for his whole season of tickets, and they'll go again if they win the AFC Championship. But he didn't sell it to a Buffalo fan. They're not going to do that. So that home field advantage is huge. And where it's normally 3 points, I would say in the playoffs, it could be probably more 4 or 4.5 points. So when you look at the point spread, that's kind of right where it is, right?
Yep.
Blackhawk West is banking on the Bengals then.
And what he said is, they lose to Buffalo, he didn't miss anything, he took the money. But he would definitely go to them playing Cincinnati. So here's some of the things that jumped out at me. In the first quarter, it's the only quarter of these 4 games that I did not pick. Kansas City had a string where they won like 10 in a row in the first quarter. But Buffalo ended the season in their last 5 games, including that playoff game, they allowed 2 points in 5 games in the first quarter. So that's 5 times 15, right? That's 75 minutes of football. They allowed 2 points. If you like Kansas City, it's kind of hard to bet against a team that allows 2 points. But in the first half, Kansas City scores a lot of points. But remember how much live action I do. And if you see our shows on your network on Thursdays, the first thing we do is put bets in. Hopefully they're going to cash before the show ends. Thursday night, 2 of them did right away. Boom, boom. We got 2 goals in one of the games and cashed 2 tickets. But I'm going to sit and pay attention very much for this game for the over because I like the over. But if I can get a first quarter under, what'll happen is in live action, that over is going to tick down. And if it ticks down 3-4 points, that's a lot in a game. A guy misses a field goal and you lose, but because I bet it later and I got the lower number, say I got it at 49 instead of 55, I win. You bet the same thing I did. I just bet it at a different number. And you really got to look for your numbers in these playoff games because all these lines are tight.
Chiefs usually start slow, too, so first quarter under might be good for that game.
Yeah. Well, Green Bay, we talked about it on the show. Green Bay had a horrible year in the first quarter, but a great year in the first half. So what we started to do is wait till about the number. You just watch the number. If you have a legal sports betting account, you're in a good spot. If you don't, get one because betting from your phone is the best thing ever.
Of course.
The second thing is, if you're not doing live action, stop and start paying attention to live action. Live action could a lot of times help you correct a mistake that you've made in your wagering. You thought something was going to happen. And live action, remember what we talk about. Anything that you bet up to the kickoff is based on what you saw in the past. You saw something, you know something, you thought something, whatever it was, the offensive line or the coaching or the weather, whatever it was. But live action, guys, is what's happening. It's what's really happening. And it allows you to really make a difference. And most of these playoff games, I will be by my phone or by my computer if I'm at home, and I will be paying attention to the numbers. I have in my head numbers. Like for this number, it's 49. If I can get this over to 49 by being patient early in the game, wouldn't you rather have 49 than 54?
Absolutely. I like Buffalo in this game on the money line plus 105. They have the momentum going in this game. I know Kansas City demolished the Pittsburgh Steelers. Who wouldn't have thought that Pittsburgh was going to win that game? Buffalo played the better of the teams. They knocked off the Patriots, a very good defensive team, very good running team. Now, Kansas City is not a good running team, and Kansas City throughout the season had problems stopping the run. I think Buffalo, even with Moss and Singletary, I still think they can still run the ball more sufficient and efficient than Kansas City.
Well, what percentage of their running offense, their total yards, is quarterback-driven? It's not as much as the Baltimore guy, but it's a lot.
Yes.
Allen's the second leading rusher on the team.
And the way he runs, he's smart. Sometimes you see quarterbacks that they're afraid to run. They're afraid to run, and then they throw it out of bounds. This dude makes decisions quickly. And when he does, and he's rumbling, especially if you're a defensive back or a linebacker who's in coverage and you have turned your back so he can see the numbers on your back, you're in trouble.
I agree with you, and I think Josh Allen is going to be a big part, especially running the ball in this game. It's going to be very cold in Kansas City. I don't know if there's going to be any snow on the ground, but it's going to be a fun game to watch. And also, Kansas City Arrowhead. Who doesn't like that stadium? Who doesn't like the fans?
I'm probably going to try to go there next year because he's always treated my son went there to a game. They treated him to the Bud Tent because he's a season ticket holder. It's supposedly the number one environment in all of professional football, American football, of course. So let me give you my play. So in the first quarter, I told you I'm doing nothing. In the first half, I'm betting Kansas City. But in the second half and for the game, I'll be on the over. So if Buffalo wins, God bless them, as long as they score enough points. I don't care who wins. I care about Chaz's bankroll. I care about how many tickets you cash if you listen to me. We have this data that tells us this is what they've done in the past. That helps, but it doesn't matter once the kickoff. You got to pay attention. Most people don't. What do you think? I would say 90% of the betting public makes their bets and watches the game. I have the game going over, but I have Kansas City leading at halftime.
Who do you think wins this game?
I wouldn't bet against Kansas City at home.